You know what makes my blood absolutely boil? When people sit there and tell me that WWE doesn't have the guts to pull the trigger on dream matches anymore, that they're playing it safe, that they've lost their edge. Well, let me tell you something right now. What just got confirmed is going to make every single one of those critics eat their words, and I mean choke on them. Femi, the most dominant force NXT has seen in years, just did something so audacious, so absolutely insane, that it's got the entire wrestling world losing their minds. He called out Brock Lesnar. Not just called him out, challenged him to a match. And here's the kicker that's got me fired up: WWE confirmed they're making it happen. If you think this is just another publicity stunt, you haven't been paying attention, and you need to stick around because what I'm about to reveal is going to blow your mind. Segment 1: The Challenge. Let me set the scene for you because this moment was electric. Femi has been on an absolute warpath through NXT. We're talking about a man who's held the NXT North American Championship for over 200 days, demolishing everyone in his path like they're nothing. He's not just beating people, he's destroying them. Every single defense has been a statement. Every match has been a reminder that there's levels to this business, and he's operating on a completely different stratosphere than everyone else in that brand. But here's where it gets interesting. After his latest defense, instead of celebrating like a normal champion would, Oba grabbed the microphone. The crowd went silent. You could hear a pin drop in that arena. And what he said next sent shockwaves through the entire industry. He looked dead into the camera and said he's conquered everyone in NXT. He's beaten every challenge put in front of him. And now he wants the one man who everyone considers unconquerable. He wants the beast incarnate. He wants Brock Lesnar. The audacity of this man. Do you understand what he just did? This isn't some veteran looking for one last big payday. This isn't a legend trying to recapture glory. This is a young, hungry, dominant champion saying he's ready to step into the ring with arguably the most legitimate fighter WWE has ever had. Some people are calling it career suicide. Some are saying he's lost his mind. But you know what I see? I see a man who believes he's that good. Quick engagement break, and before we go any further, I need to know, do you think Femi has what it takes to stand across the ring from Brock Lesnar? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Is this confidence or delusion? Segment 2: WWE's response. Now, here's where most people expected this story to end. We've seen this before, right? Young upstart calls out a legend, WWE ignores it, moves on to the next storyline. That's the playbook. That's what we're used to seeing. But not this time. Oh no, not this time. Because just 48 hours after Femi threw down the challenge, WWE officials made an announcement that sent the wrestling world into absolute chaos. Triple H himself addressed this situation. The chief content officer didn't laugh it off. He didn't dismiss it. He didn't tell Oba to get in line and wait his turn. Instead, he acknowledged the challenge and confirmed that conversations are happening backstage to make this match a reality. Let that sink in for a second. WWE is actually considering putting their rising NXT star in the ring with the man who's conquered The Undertaker's streak, who's beaten John Cena, who's made Roman Reigns look human, who's dominated for over 2 decades. The dirt sheets are reporting that there's serious momentum behind this match happening at a major premium live event. We're not talking about some random episode of Raw or SmackDown. We're talking about a Big 4 pay-per-view stage. Some sources are saying SummerSlam is the target. Others are whispering about possibly WrestleMania season. Either way, this is being treated as a massive deal internally. But why? Why would WWE take this risk? Why would they put their NXT champion, someone they're still building, in a position where he could get absolutely demolished by Brock Lesnar? I'll tell you exactly why, and this is where it gets really interesting. Segment 3: The bigger picture. WWE isn't stupid. They know exactly what they're doing here, and it's absolutely genius when you break it down. See, there are 2 ways this match can go, and both of them benefit WWE in huge ways. Let me explain the psychology behind this decision because it's masterful. Scenario 1: Brock Lesnar wins. On the surface, that seems like it buries Femi, right? Wrong. If Oba goes 15, 20, even 25 minutes with Brock Lesnar and makes him work for that victory, if he takes Brock to his limit and shows the world he belongs on that level, he's instantly legitimized. Think about what happened when AJ Styles faced Brock at Survivor Series. AJ didn't win, but he proved he could hang with the beast, and his stock went through the roof afterward. The same thing happened with Finn Balor, with Daniel Bryan, with CM Punk. Losing to Brock Lesnar in a competitive match doesn't hurt you, it elevates you. Scenario 2, and this is the one that has me most excited: Femi wins. Can you imagine? Can you picture the moment when Oba hits whatever finish they decide on, covers Brock Lesnar, and the referee counts 3? The wrestling world would explode. Social media would break. Every news outlet would be talking about it. You'd instantly create a new top-level star overnight. 1, 2, 3, and suddenly Femi isn't just an NXT champion anymore, he's the guy who beat Brock Lesnar. That's a rocket ship strapped to someone's career. Quick trivia break. Speaking of Brock Lesnar's history, here's a question for the real wrestling historians in the comments. How many times has Brock Lesnar been pinned clean in the middle of the ring during his entire WWE career? No countouts, no disqualifications, just clean, 1 2 3 pins. Drop your answer below, and I'll reveal it later in the video. Segment 4, the comparison game. Now let's talk about what makes this match so compelling from a pure wrestling perspective, because the styles here are fascinating. Femi is 6'5", 270 pounds of pure muscle and athleticism. The man moves like someone 50 pounds lighter. His combination of power and agility is something we rarely see. He can throw you across the ring like a rag doll, but he can also hit a springboard move that takes your breath away. He's got that rare ability to be both a dominant big man and an athletic powerhouse. Then you've got Brock Lesnar, 5-time WWE champion, 3-time Universal champion, UFC heavyweight champion. The man is a legitimate fighter with amateur wrestling credentials that are second to none. He's got that explosive power that can change a match in an instant. One F5 and it's over. We've seen him ragdoll people who are 6'8", 300 pounds like they're cruiserweights. His intensity is unmatched. When Brock shows up, you feel it. But here's the key difference that everyone's sleeping on. Femi is hungry. Brock Lesnar at this stage of his career? He's a mercenary. He shows up, does his thing, collects his check, and goes home. There's nothing wrong with that, the man's earned it. But Oba? This could be his defining moment. This could be the match that changes his entire life. That desperation, that need to prove himself, that could be the equalizer that nobody's talking about. The physicality of this match is going to be insane. We're talking about two absolute specimens who are going to beat the living hell out of each other. Suplex City? Oba's going to have to survive that. But can Brock handle the relentless assault that Oba brings? The man doesn't stop. He keeps coming, keeps pressuring, keeps dominating. That's his whole identity. Segment 5, the backstage politics. Let's get real for a second and talk about the backstage implications of this match, because there's so much more happening behind the curtain than what we see on television. Brock Lesnar is notoriously selective about who he works with and how he works. The man has creative control in his contract. He decides when he shows up, who he faces, and how the matches go. For him to agree to this match means he sees something in Femi. It means Paul Heyman probably sees something. And trust me, Paul Heyman doesn't just advocate for anybody. There are reports coming out that Paul Heyman himself has been pushing for this match backstage. He sees Femi as someone who could carry the company for the next decade. Think about Heyman's track record. He's the one who recognized CM Punk's potential when nobody else did. He's the one who helped elevate Roman Reigns to another level. He's the architect behind some of the greatest character work we've ever seen. If Heyman is advocating for Oba, that tells you everything you need to know. Triple H's vision for NXT has always been about creating stars who can immediately compete on the main roster. He doesn't want developmental talent anymore, he wants ready-made superstars. Femi is the perfect example of that philosophy. The guy looks like $1 million, wrestles like a veteran, talks like a champion, and carries himself with an aura that you just can't teach. Putting him against Brock isn't a risk in Triple H's eyes, it's a calculated investment. Audience engagement. Quick question for you all. If this match happens, where should it take place? WrestleMania? SummerSlam? Survivor Series? Or should WWE create a special standalone event just for this? Let me know in the comments what you think would be the perfect stage. Segment 6, the build-up. Now let's fantasy book this for a second, because the build to this match is going to be absolutely crucial. You can't just throw these two in the ring and expect it to work. You need to tell a story. You need to make people care. And I've got some ideas about how WWE should handle this that are going to make this the most talked about match of the year. First, you need to establish Femi as a legitimate threat. That means he needs to keep winning on NXT. Dominant victories. Squash matches. Make him look like an unstoppable force. Have him break records. Have him destroy multiple opponents in one night. Build that aura of invincibility around him so that when he steps in the ring with Brock, people actually believe he has a chance. Second, you need Brock to take this seriously. No more smiling, laughing Brock. We need Beast Brock. We need the Brock who shows up with murder in his eyes. Have Paul Heyman cut promos about how insulted Brock is that this NXT rookie thinks he can challenge the Conqueror. Build that personal animosity. Make it feel like Brock wants to end Oba's career for having the audacity to challenge him. Third, and this is critical, you need physical confrontations before the match. Have Oba show up on a Raw or SmackDown and attack Brock from behind. Have Brock retaliate by destroying Oba during an NXT taping. Make it feel real. Make it feel like these two genuinely want to hurt each other. The best wrestling feuds are the ones that feel legitimate, and this has all the ingredients to feel absolutely authentic. Segment 7, the historical context. Let's put this in perspective by looking at WWE history, because what we're potentially witnessing here is historic. When was the last time WWE took a developmental talent and immediately threw them into a program with one of the biggest names in company history? It doesn't happen. Even Roman Reigns had to work his way up. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose came in as a group to build credibility. AJ Styles was already a made man before he arrived in WWE. The closest comparison we have is probably Brock Lesnar himself. When Brock debuted in 2002, they fast-tracked him to the main event scene within months. He was beating The Rock for the WWE Championship less than 6 months after his debut. But even that wasn't as audacious as what they're planning here, because Brock wasn't an active NXT talent, he was brought straight to the main roster. What WWE is doing with Oba Femi is unprecedented. They're essentially saying, our developmental system is so good, our talent is so polished, that they can compete with the best immediately. That's a bold statement. That's WWE putting their money where their mouth is. And honestly, I respect it. I respect the confidence. I respect the willingness to take a risk and potentially create something special. Trivia answer. Remember the trivia question from earlier about how many times Brock has been pinned clean? The answer is shockingly low. We're talking maybe 10 to 12 times in his entire WWE career across both runs. That's insane when you think about how long he's been around. Names like Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns are on that very short list. Will Oba Femi join them? That's the question everyone's asking. Segment 8, the potential outcomes. Let's game this out and talk about every possible outcome and what it means for both competitors, because there's so much riding on this match. The implications are huge no matter what happens. If Brock wins decisively, like a 5-minute squash match, that would be a disaster. It would kill all of Oba's momentum and make WWE look foolish for building him up. I don't think this is what they're planning, but it's a possibility we have to consider. Brock's proven he'll do what Brock wants to do, and if he decides he doesn't want to make Oba look good, there's not much anyone can do about it. If Brock wins in a competitive match, this is probably the most likely scenario. Oba pushes Brock to his limit, kicks out of an F5, maybe even hits his finish on Brock for a close nearfall, but ultimately Brock's experience and veteran instincts win the day. This protects both guys. Oba looks like a star who just came up short against the absolute best, and Brock maintains his aura of dominance. It's the safe option, but safe doesn't always mean boring. If Oba wins clean, this is the nuclear option. This is WWE saying, Oba Femi is the future, and we're all in on him right now. It would be shocking, controversial, and debated for years. Some people would love it, others would hate it, but everyone would be talking about it, and isn't that what wrestling is all about? Creating moments that people remember forever? If there's some kind of screwy finish, interference, disqualification, double countout, that would be the worst possible outcome. Nobody wants to see these two physical specimens go at it only for the match to end in some unsatisfying way. If WWE goes this route, the backlash would be severe. Fans are tired of inconclusive finishes, especially for matches that are built up as dream matches. Engagement moment. I want to know from you, what finish would satisfy you most? Would you rather see Oba win clean and become an instant megastar? Or would you prefer a close, competitive loss that builds him up for future success? This is important, so drop your thoughts in the comments. Segment 9, the ripple effects. What a lot of people aren't talking about is how this match affects the entire WWE landscape. If this match happens, it changes everything. It changes how we view NXT. It changes how we view the main roster hierarchy. It changes the entire trajectory of WWE's storytelling for potentially the next several years. For NXT, this is validation. It proves that the brand isn't just a developmental territory anymore, it's a legitimate third brand that can produce main event level talent. Imagine what this does for morale down in the performance center. Every wrestler there is going to believe that if they work hard enough, if they're good enough, they too could be facing WWE legends in dream matches. That's powerful motivation. For the main roster, this creates interesting dynamics. If Oba Femi can hang with Brock Lesnar, how does that affect guys like Damian Priest, Finn Balor, or even someone like Gunther? It potentially creates new dream matches. Oba versus Gunther in a battle of dominant champions? Oba versus Roman Reigns in a clash of powerful forces? The possibilities become endless once you establish Oba at that upper echelon level. For Brock Lesnar, this might be one of his last truly meaningful matches. The man's not getting any younger. He's said multiple times that he's winding down his career. What better way to go out than by creating a new star? Brock's legacy is secure, nobody can take away what he's accomplished. But if he can use his remaining matches to elevate the next generation, that adds another layer to his legendary status. Social media has been absolutely insane since this news broke. I'm talking about thousands of tweets, Instagram posts, YouTube videos, podcast discussions. Everyone has an opinion on this match. And what's fascinating is how divided people are. This isn't unanimous excitement. There's genuine controversy here, and that's actually a good thing. One camp is saying this is the most exciting thing WWE has done in years. They love the unpredictability. They love that WWE is willing to take risks. They love that we're getting fresh matchups instead of the same tired rematches we've seen 100 times. These fans are hyped, and they're ready to see something new and different. The other camp is more skeptical. They worry that Femi isn't ready for this moment. They think WWE is rushing things and potentially setting him up for failure. They point to examples like when WWE pushed people too fast and it backfired. They're concerned that if this match doesn't deliver, it could actually hurt both competitors. Then there's a third group that's just happy to potentially see Brock Lesnar again. The man's a draw. Whenever he shows up, it feels like a big deal. These fans don't really care about the storytelling implications, they just want to see the beast incarnate do what he does best, and if that involves fighting a talented newcomer, they're all for it. What's your take? Are you in the excited camp, the skeptical camp, or the just happy to see Brock camp? Let me know in the comments because I'm genuinely curious about where everyone stands on this. Here's the bottom line: whether you love this idea or hate it, whether you think Femi is ready or not, whether you believe WWE is making a brilliant move or a terrible mistake, you're going to watch this match. That's the reality. When WWE confirms Femi vs Brock Lesnar, it's going to be one of the most watched matches of the year, guaranteed. And isn't that what this business is all about? Creating moments that matter? Creating matches that people will talk about for years to come? Creating stars who can carry the company into the future? WWE is swinging for the fences with this one, and I respect that. I respect the ambition. I respect the willingness to try something different. Femi challenged Brock Lesnar to a match, and WWE confirmed they're making it happen. Now we wait to see when, where, and most importantly, how this all plays out. One thing's for certain, the wrestling world is watching, and everyone has an opinion. This could be the beginning of a new era, with Femi as the face of that era. Or it could be a cautionary tale about pushing too hard, too fast. Time will tell. But I'll leave you with this final thought: greatness requires risk. Legends aren't made by playing it safe. They're made by stepping up when everyone says you're not ready, when everyone says you can't do it, when everyone says you're crazy for even trying. Femi is taking that risk. He's stepping up to face the biggest challenge of his career. And regardless of the outcome, I respect the hell out of that. Now it's your turn. Hit that like button if you want to see this match happen. Subscribe if you want more wrestling content that doesn't hold back. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know because this conversation is just getting started. And most importantly, drop your honest thoughts in the comments. Do you think Femi can shock the world? Is WWE making the right call? What should the finish be? I want to hear everything. Wrestling World CC, signing off. And remember,